Hello everyone, and welcome to Rage Against The Imperium. In today's episode, I will be showing you how to start a Necron army for Warhammer 40k 8th edition. In this episode, I will be showing you the old Start Collecting box, the new Start Collecting box, as well as Forgebane. So we will start today's episode with the new Start Collecting box and we will work our way from there. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, like, comment and subscribe. So with the new Start Collecting box set, you will get yourself 1 Necron Overlord with a Void Sight, 5 Necron Immortals or Death Marks, 12 Necron Warriors, an Annihilation Barge, a 2nd Necron Overlord with a War Sight, and 3 Canoptic Scarabs. Now, alternatively, you can swap the Annihilation Barge and the 2nd Overlord to create a Catacomb Command Barge. So with this box set, you will have around 509 points to 620 points of Necrons. So if you were to make a 500 point list, you might have to drop, like, say, the Immortals and run with 2 Overlords, the Necron Warriors and Annihilation Barge, or maybe the Immortals, Catacomb Command Barge and the Necron Warriors. But with the box you get a good bit of options compared to what you got from the old one. It's a pretty solid box and it's a great place for any Necron beginners who are looking to start the Necron army and not sure where to begin. So that's the new Start Collecting box set for Necrons. Next we will look at the old Start Collecting box set and we will see how it fares in this new edition. So next up we have the old Start Collecting box set. With this box set you get 1 Necron Overlord with a Void Sight, you get 12 Necron Warriors, you get 3 Kinetic Scarabs, and you get 1 Triarch Stalker. So this box set will get you 480 to 520 points of Necrons. So it is about 100 points less than what you get in the new Start Collecting box set. But what you do get is Triarch Stalker, which is basically your only anti-tank at the moment unless you invest in a Monolith or Doomsday Arc, but we'll go through them in different episodes. So from 2016 it was a pretty good box set, and in 2018 it is an okay box set. I would only recommend you get it if you're new or if you don't have any Triarch Stalkers, because they are pretty good still, even with no Codex buffs, but we'll go through that in a little bit. So yeah, I would recommend this box if you're starting Necrons, but if you're a vet or someone who already has 3 Triarch Stalkers or doesn't want any Triarch Stalkers, I would just skip in this box and get a new one. So up next we'll go through Forgebane. So with Forgebane you will net yourself 5 Necron Immortals or Death Marks, 5 Necron Lich Guard or Praetorians, 3 Canoptic Wraiths, and the new Canoptic Cloak Cryptek. So Forgebane is roughly 500 to 600 points of Necrons. It's not like the Start Collecting boxes where it's a great place to start. It's one of those sets where if you have an Admech friend that wants to start collecting Admech or get more forces, it's a good box to go halves with, and it's also a good box to get if you're an already existing Necron player who wants to get more models. I would probably get one of the Start Collecting boxes first rather than get Forgebane, but if you do decide to get Forgebane, do try to get one of the Start Collecting boxes as well, just so that you have a good mixture of models and you're not just forced with elite type units, because it'd be hard to play a game with the Lich Guard and the Immortals and the Wraiths all the time outside of the missions that they give you in Forgebane and what you have in your local meta. So if you do buy Forgebane, at least try to get a Start Collecting box or try to get a Necron Overlord or maybe a box of Warriors, just so you're not just stuck with what you have. So that's it for these boxes. Up next I will show you everything one-on-one, tell you what to do, how they work, their stats, and then from there I will show you my 500 point list that I would make from these 3 boxes, and I will explain to you why this list works and how it works. Starting with the Cryptek. The Cryptek is part of a 5. It is 5-inch movement, weapons, skill, and skill 3+, strength and toughness 4, with 4 wounds, 1 attack, leadership 10, and a 4+ save. It has living metal, so it heals a wound a turn, which you'll see a lot in other HQs. It can have a Chromatron, which lets Dynasty infantry units when 3 inches out of friendly model have a 5+ vulnerable save for shooting. So your warriors are usually a 4+ save. So if they were to be AP-2, they usually take it on their save be 6+. But if you have a Chromatron Cryptek nearby, it'll be on a 5+ flat no matter how much AP is done. Is Techmancer, so any reanimation protocol units, so warriors, warriors, Lich Guard, Immortals, Two Blades even, anything within the same dynasty and with reanimation protocols is around a unit of Techmancer. When trinks of it gets +1 to its reanimation, so instead of coming back on a 5+, you're coming back on a 4+. And the Cryptek can have the all new Canoptic Cloak. So what this does is it gives the Cryptek a movement value of 10 inches instead of 5, so essentially doubling it. And it gives the fly keyword, so if it gets charged, it can fly and fall back out of combat. It can also keep up with our faster units like Tomb Blades and Raids and whatnot to give them a better reanimation protocol, and it can also keep up with the heat of battle. Also, you can also select one frame dynasty model that has living metal ability that's within 3 inches of the model, and instead of healing 1 wound a turn, it gets to heal D3 wounds. So you also have a way of giving your Overlord or your Calcomamberge or even yourself D3 wounds a turn instead of 1 wound a turn when you take damage. So the Cryptek is 80 points. For Chromatron, you will be 95 points. And for the Canoptic Cloak Tech, it's 5 points. So Chromatron, Cryptek, 95 points. Cloak Tech, Cryptek, 85 points. And a basic Cryptek, because maybe technically you don't have to take any more gear, can be 80 points. So it's a pretty good model, you know. Reanimation doesn't really come into games that much, you know. Reanimation is kind of a gimmick in this edition. So either you get really good rolls or you don't get the rolls you really want. So while making 4+ reanimation is pretty good, it doesn't always come to light, because as you've seen some of battle ports, I've rolled a lot of 1s, 2s and 3s for my reanimation. Even with the buff, I'm still not rolling that many 4s. So Cryptek's pretty good. It's a pretty good HQ. It can do a lot of things. It can help a lot of units out. It's good to have in between all your infantry units that have reanimation protocols and within the same dynasty, so that they either survive long enough or they get buffed long enough. So up next we'll look at the Overlord and the Calcomamberge, and we will see what they can do in this new edition. So out of these 2 HQs, we'll start with the Overlord first. So the Overlord is power level 6. It has a movement value of 5, weapon and ballistic skill 2+, strength and toughness 5, 5 wounds, 3 attacks, 10 leadership and a 3+ save. It can have a Staff of Light. It can have a Hyperphase Sword, a Void Blade, a Void Sight, or a War Sight. It has living metal, so it can heal a wound a turn. It has a Resurrection Orb, which costs an extra 35 points, and it to do an extra RP for 1 Dynasty Infantry unit within 3 inches of the model, once per turn, or once per battle, sorry. It has a Phase Shifter, which is a 4+ informal save, and it has My Will Be Done, which lets you pick any Dynasty Infantry unit within 6 inches of the model, and you get to add 1 to the advance, to the charge, and to the hit roll of that model. So if you were to pick warriors, they will be advancing +1, charging +1, and they'll be hitting on 2s in both shooting and the fighting phase instead of hitting on 3s, before modifiers obviously. So this model will cost you as cheapest 83 points with a Hyperphase Sword and 104 points with a Void Sight. And if you were to equip it with a Res Orb, it will cost you 122 points at its lowest and 139 points at its dearest. Its Staff of Light is range 12 as all 3, strength 5, -2, damage 1. Its Hyperphase Sword is melee. It gives +1 strength, making the Overlord strength 6, -3 AP, damage 1. Its Staff of Light in melee is strength user, -2, damage 1. The Void Blade is strength user, -3, damage 1. It gives the bearer an extra attack, The void sight is strength times 2, so it is strength 10, minus 4 AP, damage 3, and you must subtract 1 when you hit with this weapon, so you'll be hitting on 3s instead of 2s. And the war sight is strength plus 2, minus 4 damage 2, so you'll be strength 7. So that's it for the Overlord. Pretty good model. I use it quite a lot, but I do prefer the Calico Command Barge, which we will go over next. So up next we have the Calico Command Barge. It is 9 power level, has 12 inch movement, weapon skill and business skill 2+, strength 5, toughness 6, 8 wounds, 3 attacks, 10 leadership and 3+ save. It has a Gauss cannon, a Staff of Light, a Teza cannon, Hyperface sword, Void blade and war sight. It can swap its Gauss cannon for a Teza cannon, and it can swap any weapon it's holding for another weapon. It can't have a void sight, that is only for the walking Overlord. So this model has living metal, same as the Overlord, has a wave of command which is basically the same as My Will Be Done, but it's 12 inches instead of 6, and the target unit cannot be buffed by both of them at the same time, so it's basically the same as My Will Be Done. It's Quantum Shielding, which means that if you fail your save and the opponent is doing damage, say 3 damage, if you roll less than the damage that you've taken, then you ignore the damage completely. So my opponent does 3, I roll a 1 or 2, and on 2 I ignore all the damage, but if I was to roll 3, 4, 5 or 6, the damage will go through. It also has a Resurrection Orb, and it can explode on a 6+ when it dies, and does a mortal wound to anything within 3 inches. So at its cheapest, this model will cost you 154 points. At its cheapest with a Resurrection Orb, it is 189 points. At its dearest, it is 169 points, and with a Resurrection Orb, it is 204 points. It has the Fly keyword, which means that if it gets charged in close combat, it can fly out of combat on your turn and still shoot as if nothing had happened in the previous phase. Its stats for its Gauss cannon is range 24, heavy 3, strength 6, minus 3, damage D3. Its Teza cannon is range 24, assault 3, strength 6, AP 0, and 1 damage for each hit roll of 6+. This dice does 3 hits instead of 1. So as you can see, it is twice as expensive as a basic Overlord, but I prefer just due to its stats and what it can do and how long it can survive. If you go to the relics on the codex, there is a way to make this model a 4+ invulnerable save just like a generic Overlord, so it can last as long if not longer. So that's it for Calico Command Barge. Up next we'll have the Warriors, and we will see what they can do. Up next we'll have the Kinetic Scarabs. They are part of a 2 for 3, they are part of a 4 for 4 to 6 of them, and they are part of a 6 for 7 to 9 of them. They have 10 inch movement, weapon skill 4+, they have no business skill because they shoot nothing, they are strength, toughness and wounds 3, they have 4 attacks, 10 leadership and a 6+ save. They have the Fly keyword, so they're able to attack jets and anything else that's up in the air, like flying high tyrants and Mortarion and whatnot. They have the Swarm keyword, so if you tarp hit something with the Titanic keyword, they technically can't walk over you because you aren't infantry. So if you tarp hit them enough, you could stop something from moving away from your close combat and sticking it in close combat. So they used to be hitting on 3s, but they got changed to be hitting on 4s instead, just to make them a little more fair, I suppose, in the game. They have only one weapon, and that's the feeder mandibles, so a strength user, strength 3, but it always wounds on a 5+ if the toughness is higher than the strength. So what that means is that if you were to be attack something on 2+ toughness, you'd be wounding on 3s. If you were to attack something on a 4+ toughness, you'd be wounding on 4s. But if you attack anything toughness 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is, you'll be always wounding on 5s. So out of those 4 attacks, at least 1 or 2 are going to go through in the hitting on wounded phase, and if you have 9 of them, that's at least 18 wounds going through, and with the possibility of doing a lot more wounds. And because they're 3 wounded base, they can take systemic pretty well, and they can take a lot of other things pretty well, like multi-damage weapons and singular weapon damage. So they're pretty cheap. At 13 points a model, 3 of them will cost you 39 points, and 9 of them will cost you 117. They're pretty good at holding things up, they're pretty good at taking smite, they're pretty good at taking mortal wounds because they're 3 wounds base, and they're pretty good at killing anything that has a few wounds left over, or for annoying your opponent, holding objectives, and for denying deep strike. So Scarab is probably one of the better units we have in this codex, just due to how many points they cost and the versatility of what they can do for us. So next up we have the Eclectic Wraiths. They are 9 power level for a unit of 3, and for a unit of 4 to 6 they are 18 power level. They are 12-inch movement, they are weapon skill, blitz skill 3+, they are strength 6, toughness 5, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, 10 leadership, and a 4+ save. They have the Wraith form, which means that these units have a 3+ vulnerable save for whatever, and they can move across models in terrain if they were not there. And the models in this unit can shoot and charge even if they fall back in turn. So if they were a charge unit in turn 1 and was on my turn 2, I decided to fall back with these units. With whatever guns they have, they can still shoot and they can still charge another unit if I want them to. So they have the Beasts keyword. Don't think that really means much so far in 8th edition. If it does, pop in the comments below because I've never seen it come up in the game, but I'm not too sure. For the weapons, they can have Paracaster, which is range 12. It's a pistol 1, strength 6, AP 0, damage 1, no abilities. You can have a trans-dimensional beamer, which is range 12, heavy D3, strength 4, -3, damage 1, and each time you do a 6+ wound roll for this weapon, the target suffers a mortal wound plus any other damage. You can have Vicious Claws, which come stock, which are strength user, -2, damage 2, and you can have Whip Coils, which are the exact same as Vicious Claws, but if the bearer is slain before you take away in the fight phase, it gets to attack as if it was alive. So when the model dies, you still get to do your 3 attacks as if it was still alive, but that's about it. Price wise, these guys are pretty expensive. The basic ones with the Vicious Claws are 55 points. The Paracasters are 59 points. The Whip Coils are 64 points, and the Trans-dimensional Beamers are 69 points. So I would pretty much run these basic. I wouldn't borrow anything else because they're shooting in zone 1k. Maybe take a Paracaster for the extra 4 points, but otherwise I just be running naked at strength 6, -2, damage 2 for 3 attacks. With 6 of them, that's 18 hits, pretty much doing a lot of damage. And back in the index, they were only strength 6, -1, a damage 1, so they've gotten a pretty good boost. But they were 38 points versus 55 points. So while they got more expensive and better, it's they're a little bit harder to field. But if you want them, you'll find the points. So next up, we will look at the Annihilation Barge, and we will see how much that has improved since the codex has dropped. Okay, so up next we have the Annihilation Barge. It is power level 8, it has 12-inch movement, weapon skill 6, so it's battle melee, blitz skill 3+, strength 5, toughness 6, 8 wounds, 3 attacks, a leadership 10, and a 4+ save. It has living metal, quantum shielding, and explodes. And for its weapons, it is a Gauss cannon, a Tesla cannon, and a twin Tesla destructor. So with the Annihilation Barge, it basically swaps the Overlord that was riding it for the twin Tesla destructor, which is range 24 inches, assault 8, strength 7, AP 0, damage 1, and for each 6+ they hit, it does 3 hits instead of 1. So it's pretty good at killing like GEQs, stuff like toughness 4, toughness 3 with like 5+, 6+ saves because of how many shots you're getting. And there are ways to make it like do Tesla shots on 5+ and potentially 4+ depending on what you can do. It also has a fly keyword, so even if it does get charged, it can fall back and shoot the target that shot it or whatever else, and it can move pretty well. So it's an okay unit to have. It's not reliable to kill or anything, but it's reliable enough to take a few shots for a turn to be a bullet magnet and take away fire from other units that you don't want to die, because it just uses to harass and to annoy and to make your opponent want to kill it because of how it does. So if you load this Annihilation Barge with a Tesla cannon, it will cost you 146 points, and if you were to give it a Gauss cannon, it will cost you 153 points. So that's it for these unit breakdowns. I hope I've helped you out so far with this video with learning all these units from all these different box sets. I hope they answer any questions you've had, and if you have any other questions you want to know about any units that I haven't covered or forgot to cover, just pop them in the comments below and I'll happy answer them without any issues. So thanks so much for watching the video so far, and next we'll look at my 500 point list out of these 3 boxes that I recommend any first person to use, and I will explain how it works and why it works. So without further ado, here is my 500 point list that I will play if I was starting Necrons. We will begin with 13 Necron Warriors, 1 Catacomb Command Barge, and 1 Triarch Stalker. This will set you back 496 points out of 500, and it is a pretty good list to begin with. Now, the reason I picked this list is because 1, warriors are pretty good at getting rid of infantry. With strength 4, AP -1 and damage 1, with 13 of them you're getting roughly 13 to 26 shots hitting on trees, which will clear a lot of chaff and GEQs in 500 point games. With the Catacomb Command Barge, the reason I picked this over an Overlord is just because of the stats. You know, toughness 6 is a lot harder to kill than toughness 5, 8 wounds is a lot more than 5, and shielding is probably better than a 4+ invulnerable, depending on what you're going against. Now, if you want the 4+ invulnerable, you can give this Catacomb Command Barge Lightning Field Relic, so it will be a 4+ invulnerable, toughness 6, quantum shielding, and fly keyword. You will basically never die. I also chose the Catacomb Command Barge because you can either have a Gauss cannon or a Tesla cannon, and with that you can swap your Staff of Life for a War Sight in case someone tries to charge you. You have a really strong Gauss cannon, and if you're in the South Tech Dynasty, you're always hitting on 2s, as you can ignore the heavy penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons unless you advance. So with that, you basically have a HQ that can reliably kill the target, or at least damage the target it is shooting at, while the warriors in front are attacking GEQs and other units that are toughness 3, toughness 4 with 4, 5, 6+ saves. And the last unit for this 500 point Necron list is the Triarch Stalker. So as we know, the Stalker doesn't get any buffs from any dynasties as is part of the Triarch, but it does buff anything in an army that can shoot with a targeting relay. So the main reason for the Triarch Stalker is to give our units targeting relay, and when they're shooting at the same unit that the Stalker has shot at, and because it is basically our only reliable anti-tank unit from both Start Collecting Boxes and Forgebane. Because while the Annihilation Barge has a strength 8 weapon, it's only damage 1 and can become -1 effort, but usually it's AP 0, whereas the Triarch Stalker has a strength 7 -1 D2 damage weapon, a strength 8 -4 D6 damage weapon, and a strength 9 -4 D6 damage weapon. So it basically fills our anti-tank role at the moment until we get to bigger size games. So the best way to use this list is that you look at what your opponent has. So let's say he's playing Filthy Imperium, a Rhino, 2 units of 10 Space Marines, and a Space Marine Captain. So what you do is you would look at whichever is closer to you and your warriors. You would shoot that with your Triarch Stalker, and okay, it would be overkill shooting a strength 9 weapon versus toughness 4 or toughness 5, but don't think of it that way. Think of it as you reliably killing something in that list, making it easier for your warriors to kill and to mow down. So when your warriors are attacking from them being buffed from Wave Command, they will be now hitting on 2s and rerolling 1s, meaning that all their hits should go through technically, and it gives you a much easier chance at getting all your wounds through, or getting enough wounds through to clear that unit out. The other reason to bring a Triarch Stalker is for its reliability to damage and or kill anything toughness 7 and above. You know, just because you're playing a 500 point game doesn't mean your opponent's not going to bring a tank type unit. I remember playing a new AdMech player before with my Necrons, and he had brought the AdMech Start Collecting Box plus another Dune Crawler. So I had only brought I had an Overlord, a Cryptek, and 2 Warriors, and I obviously couldn't kill him. Because of his Doomcrawler being toughness 7, everything was basically wounding on 5s, and while I got one down from 10 wounds down to 4 wounds, the other one had no damage, and I was basically tabled by turn 3. So even in lower point games where you might think it'll just be you versus an easy list, sometimes your opponents won't bring an easy list and will bring another circulating box or an equivalent with another tank type unit. So just make sure that if you're playing 500 point or even 1000 point games, just bring a Triarch Stalker if you have one, and if you don't have a Triarch Stalker, then you'll have to go out and buy either one of these on their own because the circulating box is nearly gone, or a Doomsday Arc, or something that has good strength and good AP and good damage. So that's pretty much it for this 500 point list. I'll just go over it again how it works. So if you're bringing this into a South Tech detachment, your Tag Command Barge will always be hitting on 2s because South Tech lets they ignore the -1 modifier for moving and shooting heavy weapons, and your Warriors will be hitting on 2s if they're buffed by Command Wave. And then when you're in your shooting phase, look at your opponent's targets, see what could do the most damage to your Warriors, hit them with Triarch Stalker first to get target and relay, target your Warriors into them, and now they're hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, meaning that all our shots should get through technically, and it gives you a much better chance at making sure that unit is depleted before your opponent's turn. This list should give you a fun time when you're playing it. It isn't too OP, it isn't too underpowered, as you have a toughness 6 HQ with a strength 7 -3 damage to your weapon. You have 13 bodies that can circle around these models comfortably enough to stop them from being charged, and you have a vehicle type unit that can destroy other vehicle type units, or you could swap it for a strength 7 type of weapon and make a more infantry, GEQ, MEQ type killer instead of technically a really hard vehicle type killer like Lehman Russes or anything toughness 8 and above. So I would definitely recommend you play this 500 point list if you're starting out with Necrons and if you have these models. Anyway, I think that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I really helped you, because with this channel I want to provide entertainment and I also want to provide help. I want to be a channel where people can come and have a wide variety of videos for you people to enjoy. I don't want to be one of those channels where the content is just the same stuff over and over again and it's just boring, nonsensical stuff. I really want to help the community. I really want to show all the help that you're giving me back to you by doing these kind of videos and making sure that the quality is as good as it can. Realistically, when I uploaded my first video, I thought I was only going to be getting like a few views, a lot more dislikes than likes, and it was going to be an uphill battle, but the support has been overwhelming. All my comments, bar maybe 1 or 2, have been all supportive and constructive, and it's just amazing that you guys have decided to support me as much as you have. It is very hard to be on YouTube in this day and age over the new algorithm, and it's very hard to be quote unquote well known in this hobby because of how little it is on the actual YouTube spectrum. But all the support is amazing and all the support is very welcomed, and I just can't appreciate how much help you've given me guys over the past few weeks in terms of confidence and me getting things done and how I feel about me putting stuff on YouTube. But I'll stop the rambling. I'll stop the sob stories. So that's it for the video, guys. This is your 500 point Necron list. 13 Necron Warriors, Cargo Command Barge with a heavy Gauss Cannon and a Warsight in case you get charged, and a Triarch Stalker either with the Heat Ray for either the 2d6 flame or just in case stuff gets really close combat-y, or take the heavy Gauss Cannon for reliability of range and to make sure that your straightening weapon is the least wounding anything toughness 8 and below on 3s or 2s. So thanks again, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this gave you everything you needed to know about the Necron army. And if you have any questions below about anything in this video, just pop them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to get back to you as fast as I can. So take it easy, guys. Mind yourselves. Again, thank you for the support. And as long as this video has helped one of you out there, then I'm a happy person. So see you in the next videos, guys. Rage Against the Imperium out.